Yeah, there's just a little bit more to me than being some broke guy from Rochdale. Just say it. There are times when things come together so perfectly that I'm like, damn, you're good. And I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about the boss who pulls the strings. Wow. It's like to see something unfold that's like, oh God, this is... Whoa. And I'm like, I'm at an alert stage here for some reason. And yesterday I was like, worried. And I'm like, I don't get worried. It's like, worried's not something that I do very much at all, but I'm worried. And it's like, what am I worried? And it's like, I can sense there's an absolute palpable panic amongst certain sets of people. And it's like, how can there, and it not be like I'm psychic, it be, no, how can there not be? It's like we haven't just got the Labour Party in trouble. We've got whatever operates behind this, the Pakistani community's ability to get crimes to go away, for the state to protect people instead of arrest them. It's like whatever that mechanism is under deep scrutiny. It's going to, and it's likely, it's at the minute being sort of asked to react, and it may well overreact, and it's be a matter of, this is in the mix, there's just a matter of time of this. There's going to be a problem here. It's like, who are we talking about here? And it'd be two words that every now and then I mention around in Rochdale amongst friends of mine who are of the Pakistani persuasion or the Bangladeshi persuasion. I will say Muslim Brotherhood, and they'll go, oh yeah, what, and it's like, where does the power derive from to get the state to do the will of criminals? It's like there has to be something there. There's something going on. We know about, oh, you guys are all from up here. How come when you all go back to Pakistan, you all go back to the same place? Well, that's where we all come from. And it's like, I made friends with George Galloway's manager, who I do like. He's a good man. He's a good man. But isn't all that effective in his role working for George, because he spends half the year practically in Pakistan. Why? He's got businesses in Manipur. And it's like, to these guys, it's just so natural as to where that's the place they go. That's where they invest their money. That's where they, that's where the nest eggs are. In Pakistan. And it's a matter of, you get it as to where you've got councillors who serve on this council who don't really speak English, but they'll come and they'll be full of themselves and all hearty and speaking pidgin English, portray themselves as men of means and learning from the University of Manipur, and they be in high positions of office all over the country in the councils, and it's like, you've only been in this country for a few years. That's been pointed out to me, by the Workers' Party guy who were Pakistanis. So many of these guys who are Labour high-ups who make a lot of decisions just haven't been in this country for very long. See one get up talking back to the Rochdale councillor, Farouk, who has got tales to tell. It's like Jesus wept. The other day, Colin Lambert went on a podcast with, what's he called? The lad who wanted to be mayor of Manchester, Nick. The MBE lad, Nick. You know who I mean. Colin Lambert went on with him. And it's like, the final piece of the fucking puzzle that makes the whole story make sense is, we need... right, in the public, we need Colin Lambert. He actually talked to someone on a webcast. He's reached the stage of, right, the local media tried to witch hunt him recently because there was a protest in Haywood recently that they dubbed a far right protest, and one of the people who was there has been to prison, and there were hundreds of people there. One of the people and our local media are just hacks, just woke hacks, awful. They did hit piece after hit piece on Colin Lambert, and he's had enough of him now, so Colin's joined. You're like, Colin's joined, and I've never spoke to Colin, but I've spoke to Farouk quite a bit, and he's his mentor. And it's like, who's Farouk? Oh God, tales Farouk can tell are awesome as to how he's been actually quite a power broker in Rochdale when he really didn't know enough or trusted, was far too trusting of the people around him to actually have power. Farouk's why we ended up with Simon Dankzuck. He's the one who was told that he was at the time the Labour Party in Rochdale wanted him to be our MP, and it wouldn't have been a bad move. He's not a bad lad. He's a Rochdale lad, and he's a worker as well. He's one of these guys he's always at it. He's in the catering business around here. Big thing with the Pakistani community. Restaurant guy, little restaurant guy, takeaway guy. It's all about the cooking. It's all about the cooking to him. They're all chefs. Half of these guys are chefs. He's one of these guys who's on the job 24 hours a day. He's like bang, 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 bang. Used to working all hours. Someone who's, he's used to working when most people, most locals might be putting their feet up on a Friday night. He's working. Someone who sees that as when you work. So he's like, these guys understand economics quite well. They understand night economies quite well. It's like there's a lot of expertise in and amongst the sort of Pakistani people who are switched on. The guys who run the businesses, the real ones. The guys who run the businesses, the real ones, they're all pally and mates with George Galloway now, or became that quickly. When he arrived, everyone just gravitated towards him. Whack. We need your help, George. And truth be told, George had no fucking idea what he was walking into when he came here. I'm sure of it now. He had no idea just how fucked things are. And just, hang on a minute. This is a completely unaccountable place that's pretty much run by people who behave like children. And it's like, yes. And anyone can get away with anything. The police are afraid. The council are afraid and doing everything they possibly can to kind of keep an illusion of power and authority. And it's like, they've been completely corrupt and deliberately inept people have been put in charge to keep the blinkers on. We've had some fools foisted upon us to, in essence, run the shop. And there's no one running the shop because they've given us people who are preoccupied with saving the world and LGBTQ plus rights. It's like you've given us absolutely inept walkitude, and that in itself is a smokescreen for what's going on elsewhere. And it'd be a matter of, this town is awash with drugs. This town is awash with shenanigan along the lines of prostitution. It's just everywhere. And this, it's not the only place that's like that. It's like we're lying about everywhere. Wherever we've got this sort of Labour setup, this Labour one-party dictatorship, it's been whittled away at and whittled away at and whittled away at, and they've suddenly in the end become just downright brainwashed, numb as fuck, and then started to recruit people who are just like them. And they are just so emotionally unequipped to deal with reality that they can't believe it to be true. And it's human pathological avoidance which has been what's been preyed upon. Now, you know what pathological avoidance is? It's like you can be the worst person in the world, but some people, their parents, will choose not to see it. That's pathological avoidance. Your children come home, age 13 and 14, stinking of drink, and you say, nah. Or even worse, you say, well, I used to drink when I was 12 too. I'd be a hypocrite if I was to tell that and think that that makes you a hypocrite. You get people who don't know the difference between right and wrong, but they've got a notion of what it might be. Can't see the wrong in themselves, so they give everyone else a pass. You've got people who've got very faulty minds where it comes to their sexual boundaries, and you know, Jess Phillips is one of them. I could believe that she'd be someone who'd be getting told a harrowing story of rape and brutalisation, and she'd almost find it titillating. She is an old feminist. She made a career right up until she got in office of blaming men, all men. It's not just Pakistani men, it's all men. And as soon as you take that level of nuance out of it, you turn it into nothing. A circular argument that can go on forever. And she used to get away with doing that. You see, the corruption, right, is different from the scandal. The corruption, the way that people have had to like retool their minds in order to operate knowing some terrible truths, has corrupted them. Corrupted. It's been going on for so long. It's like the deal they've done with the devil has corrupted them. There isn't a devil. It's just a what's it, isn't it? It's just a figure of speech. So it's like George Galloway turns up in Rochdale, and I made a series of videos during the by-election, and I found an audience for them, and the audience I found was George Galloway and his campaigners in Rochdale. Strangely, campaigners that I predicted would just turn up from all corners as to where he'd have posters and leaflets all over this town, and people knocking door to door and people turning up, and there being rallies for him. I'm like, they'll do that, it's already here. He doesn't realise that he's actually got an organisation here already. He doesn't realise that he's actually figurehead of a few things that these people really hold to be true. And it's like, it's not just the younger people who've got the internet who like him, the older people like him. George Galloway's unique in that during the time, and this is part of why I made common cause with him, he was, right, really the only MP or politician who saw what that war of terror was doing. War on terror. He protected the Muslim community in the media, in politics, from what was state Islamophobia. Arabs, or certainly not British Muslims, or anyone from England, had brought down the World Trade Center in the United States. And what did our government do? We started using words like, in the way that they now use Islamophobia, they were using the words Islamofascist to describe movements in this country that are looking to subvert. We entered into a period called the War on Terror, where the Labour government of the time put the Islamic population of this country on red alert. Actually imported Islamic sectarian politics here, imported it by singling them out as a potential enemy. And the Labour Party did this. They birthed this. We didn't have any trouble in this country before then with Islamic extremism. We just didn't. The Labour Party imported it when they went after the people. That suddenly Pakistani communities are under suspicion. Like, and they bounce back. They bounce back against it. Why? Well, like any other group of people, and wherever they are, it's a matter of, it's like they've got their own turf. What? Yeah, they've got all towns of it. It's like they control the underworld, much in the same way as once were the Irish were a big deal. They were a big deal once upon a time for being gangsters. Back when we had the Troubles, the IRA put themselves in the business of crime. It's where they recruited the people from as well, the underworld. When the marketplace for their kind of activity got too big for them to handle, just it became a free-for-all. And, you know, drug traffickers from Pakistan, it's like, well, they just moved straight in. There was no one to stop them. No competition. It was new, and they got in on it real early. Just as with any other group of people. It's like, I'm not so sure that Pakistani gangsters, right? I don't think they're the guys who are bringing in, like, incredible amounts of powder through docks and things like that. I don't think they're the guys who've got horrendous, absolute massive tons of cocaine coming through our dockyards, because that's how they get it in, don't they? They just got people who are fucking bent on the inside. There's enough money in it to just bribe just to understand the system of the place, of the checks and balances of like import export, right? It actually makes perfect sense. Like, you learn what the entire chain of custody is and bribe everybody on it. Bribe everybody on the custody list. It can be worth bribing 30 people to get your container through, and you might need to bribe everybody. And it's like, John, people don't do that. It's like, they do. You look at the world these days, there's an old saying in the north of England, license to steal. License to steal. Oh, job's a license to steal. License to steal. When you get people who've got the license to steal mindset, they're actually looking to be fucking bribed to earn a bit extra. They're wide open to it. Inside men, that's how it works. That's how smuggling works. But I tell you for something, heroin has found its way into this country in plentiful amounts over the years. And the tales that you hear and the things that you witness and see would suggest that it's like guys out of places like Bradford are running that game. And the stuff's coming over in those ever so regular flights between Pakistan and Manchester, Pakistan, Manchester, Pakistan, Manchester, Pakistan, Manchester. It's like the drugs, yeah, be a massive corrupter. We know, drugs are everywhere. We can see the wreckage of them. Watch Charlie Veitch video and you'll see that those people, right, it's like if they don't get up first thing in the morning and get some of that fucking whatever they're on down them, they done for the day and they're going to be sick and they're going to be real ill. It's like, oh no, not this again. They get horrendously sick if they don't get the gear. And that happens to everyone who gets exposed. There's no one in the world who's a casual heroin user, is there? A casual chronic addict. There's no such thing. Human beings are weak to this, and it's a matter of... So it's a surefire winning business. You just have to find people who are desperate and miserable enough and reckless enough to just get a sniff of it down them. It makes them feel better, so it's a matter of it becomes the medicine. Make it the medicine. Doctor, please... The mess I'm in. Here, I'll give you some of this. Boom, boom, this'll sort it out. Bang. You know what? It fucking did. I had all these problems in the world, and now I only have one problem. Getting all the more of that stuff. And then finding out that you need more and more and more of it. The tune as... It can get so bad, depending on on your own, your nature and your ability to keep a lid on things, that... You can't afford to fucking fund it anymore. And it's like those who die of drug overdoses, they don't do it because they open the doors to something tremendous to still get the same effect. No. They're hardened to it by then. It's when they try and get off it and they go back on. That's when they die. Fucking heart gives out. That's when they have overdose, when they've tried to get off it. So what they're doing with these junkies, they're forever trying to get them off it and 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 get them off it. And then it's like they put them on methadone, and methadone just zonks them out, makes them fucking useless, and is harder to come off, they reckon, than the heroin. Just, all right, yeah, okay, you turn this functional heroin addict, you just can't get all the stuff. Or the people he's had to mix with in order to score heroin have been people who've dragged him into a fucking pit of despair. The drug is not a problem, it's the people you have to do business with in order to get your hands on them. And it's like, I don't care whether they don't appear on the radar, but it's like drug dealers are inordinately powerful and dangerous people who, if you fuck with their action, if you mess with their money or shit, they will kill you. So I hear tale in Rochdale of people who've taken their own lives, right? And it be, well, they were murdered. To all intents and purposes, they were murdered. The only way they were given, the only way out of the situation they were given was to kill themselves because of how much trouble they were in. It's like, we've got this, you can read about it, go away, find about it, become a true crime enthusiast for 5 minutes, jump on YouTube. There's a few people who've got excellent channels where they just do the job that journalists used to and follow a story. And you'll hear all kinds of ridiculous things as to where people get their ass murdered for stepping on each other's drugs tough. Because fundamentally it's like, we're talking about young people, right, who are put out into the world with pockets full of drugs, and they're not the people who fucking brought stuff in, are they? They ultimately aren't making much money out of it, but they're taking all of the risk. And it's a matter of the world of the drug lord. They're quite happy to see all these fucking idiots fight amongst each other, be idiots, kill each other, get arrested, get the stuff taken, all that. They're not bothered. As long as the police are forever busy picking them up, the guys who are putting the money up and the guys who are making the real money, because that's who it is, isn't it? The guys who are putting the money up, they're never anywhere near it. It's like, who are these guys? And it's a matter of likely untouchable in a way that if one of those little drug arseholes in the street was to fess up the chain of command and his name was to come up, no one would believe it true, because he's a fine upstanding captain of the community, has lawyers, and to say anything bad about him would be said to be just a racist slur. We can't take the word of this junkie. He might just be trying to cause trouble. Good luck making anything stick against a guy like that. So the police preempt this and understand things like bad arrests. Bad arrests. It's like, oh, fuck me. I caught this guy who was, he ripped off someone's handbag. Junkie. No, you fucking idiot. What have you done? I've just captured this guy. He fucking pushed an old lady to the ground and grabbed. No. Look at me. What have you done wrong? And that be like the chief of police's grandson. You better do your best to make this go away, and don't leave a bad taste on the lips of this guy, otherwise it'll be all their fucking asses. And they just make things go away like that. The police. You get what they call bad arrests. What might these people do to keep this story out of the papers? Is this in the public interest? You'll get it where somebody will be let off with something. It'll be, why have they been let off? Because it wasn't in the public interest to prosecute them. Why? They're related to someone, it could embarrass them. Stories of like Tony Blair's son, who's now a billionaire, of him being wrecked. The tale of when Jack Straw, the MP's son, was just caught red-handed fucking trying to sell drugs and trying to sell drugs to journalists. Had to be exposed by the News of the World, had to be leaked, wasn't made public information, had to be, the old Murdoch empire had to chase it down and sniff it out for us to find out about it. So it's like the only time anything's done about this kind of thing is when people take the time to go and do the digging and find out. Because journalism doesn't do it. The media doesn't do the job. There's no journalism in Rochdale. There's barely any reporting. Everything's got a political angle to it. And it's a matter of everything now's desperate. And the people who are desperate on the left, they're trying to now improvise. So to improvise, they decide to cast Colin Lambert as a fascist. Okay? To go back to what I'm talking about, which is the general Rochdale situation. So Nick Buckley, remembered his name, gets Colin Lambert on, right? Now, of the history of the shenanigans of Rochdale, I've spoken to many people over the years and they've all given me different accounts. And I have my own account as well. But I have hundreds of different accounts, but there are some accounts I'd like to have that I haven't got because people have died. I'm like, the people who really were keeping on top of this, were keeping track of what was going on in this town over a certain period. I'm talking like between 1995 and about 2010. It's like, where are the watchdogs in that period? And the truth is, they're dead. They've died. And they've taken what they knew with them. And I went to have a chat with Billy Howarth a couple of months ago. And that was the question I asked him. It's like, Oldham's got Rajamia. Who's Rochdale got? So I'm not being a dick here. I'm not saying I'm Rochdale's. No, I'm not, because I don't know enough about it. There's people who know more than I do. Who are they? Billy's like, well, I could tell you, but they're just all dead. He's like, he knows what he knows and what he's heard. But it's like there is a few people's version of events that are missing from the tale to paint the story of what really happened in 2014 when it appears a deal's been done between Rochdale Council, its councillors and the Muslim Pakistani community that's allowed for what was once openly talked about to once again become taboo. Colin Lambert was ousted as leader of Rochdale Council. Why? Because a steadfast refusal to drop his investigation into child sex abuse and grooming gangs in Rochdale. Boom. He'd ordered, right, a judge-led inquiry into the grooming gangs in Rochdale. He'd ordered an inquiry. The most that a council can do is to do that. And that's the thing where they were... The fight that Raja's been fighting was to make that request or get something like that in motion, right? Colin Lambert did it. The council had a vote of no confidence against him and threw him out for it. And then the new chief executive, he quashed it within a month of getting in. Killed it off. And talking about grooming gangs and what happened to young girls went back to its old status of being a taboo again. Right? We don't talk about it anymore. That's something that happened in the past. It couldn't happen now. Right? It become that. You're just trying to share the town. You're just on the right-wing bandwagon. Right-wing bandwagon. And then there's the other side of the story that fits into where this goes wrong here. As to where Tommy Robinson in like 2011, 2012, 2013 wasn't Tommy Robinson as is today. He was a different guy, and he was out of the limelight and trying to find his place in the world. The grooming gangs scandal validated a previous position he held. Not all, but a previous position he held. Right? And his position was validated by activists from Rochdale. Activists from Rochdale backed Tommy Robinson. They backed him. They validated him. They made friends with him and said, yes, they brought out reports of their own saying predominantly Pakistani, and they gave them to him. They launched his new career. And you know one of the first things that Tommy did, and he's right, Colin Lambert mentioned it, was to protest. Rochdale's council call for the resignation of its chief executive. And it's like, in reality, right, Rochdale's chief executive at the time tells a tale of having been the head of education in Rochdale. Yeah. And wanting to get his hands on the files of what's really happened at Knollview School, and him being turned down and turned down and turned down, and then eventually 10 years later he gets to be the chief executive and says, right, now you've got to go and get me those files. 17 boxes, he says, of files. They're like top secret. And then by the time he starts requesting them, it's, they were destroyed in a flood. When? How bad was the flood? When did it happen? Show me the paperwork. No, can't find them. Oh, no, there was asbestos in that part of the building, and there was fears that those boxes had been coated in asbestos. Where's the proof? They're gone. Someone had got rid of them and they made excuses for it. So it's like, this guy was onto this. He'd been trying to fight it. He'd been tracking it down. He was onto it. He was trying to do his job. He was trying to do what everybody wanted him to do. And the Labour Party in Rochdale, vote of no confidence. There was a campaign at the time. Simon Dangsuk had just been selected as the MP for Rochdale. He'd just been elected. And it's, unfortunately, it was Farouk Say that got him the job. The late Rochdale Labour Party wanted Farouk Ahmed to be the MP. And central office said no. But they said, but we've got someone for you. If Farouk's all right with it, can Simon Dangsuk be your Member of Parliament? So he goes away and meets Gordon Brown and Simon Dangsuk. A fancy do, I think it was at Wigan Rugby League. And they had a fancy meal and a few glasses of champagne. And, you know, Simon Dangsuk has the ability to be quite a charming man. And he became best mates with Farouk. Best mates. And then when he got into office, he started digging around the story everybody knew about, which was that Cyril Smith was a massive nonce and he'd somehow been protected by the establishment for 40 years, 50 years. And it's like when he was in the Labour Party, when he was Mayor of Rochdale, they knew that he was messing with lads. They've always known, and he's just always just brassed it out and denied it. And people who've said it out loud have ended up facing a massive repercussion. So Simon Dangsuk tried to become famous by exposing this, and it's like, Jesus Christ, you just come here and you steal other people's work and just publish it as yourself, like you've done this great big investigation. It's like, you sick fraud. Everything he reveals in that book is something that was, all of it was exposed by what was a now shut down, long since shut down, publication that came out in Rochdale called the Rochdale Independent Press, or RAP. It was just their old story that he just repackaged and put out. And now it's true, because the guy's dead and he can't, and he tried to parlay that into some kind of celebrity. And then when he found out a truth or two about the grooming gang situation, it fucking crushed him and he couldn't handle it. It crushed him. Broke his heart. And he couldn't handle it because he couldn't handle the victims. He couldn't handle the stories. He couldn't handle sitting there and listening to these girls telling him what had happened to them. He could not deal with it. It fucked him up, right? Because whoever gets in, if you actually turn up in Rochdale, right, if you get in as an MP, the first thing you're going to have to put up with is crying young women claiming that they've been raped by members of the political status quo. You're going to have them lining up. Happened to Galloway. Galloway was asking questions in Parliament about allegations of sexual assault and harassment, right, by the mayor of Rochdale on what they were calling a town hall member of staff, right? You see, Galloway, he asked me to help him out and be a strategist, but he withheld from me the name of the person that had come to him to protect the identity of the victim. It's like, when you find out the identity of the victim, which has recently been leaked by someone within the Labour Party, someone's put it out there because they're sick of it. They're sick of the lies, right? Someone in the Rochdale Labour Party has blown the whistle on who that person who went running to George Galloway saying they were being stalked, sexually harassed and sexually assaulted by the mayor. Turns out she was a Labour councillor called Amber Nisa. That's who it was. How do I know this? Somebody leaked a load of text messages out onto TikTok, of all places, exposing the whole thing. So there's cracks in the Rochdale Labour Party, as always, infighting, and someone's reached for a weapon. Someone else has decided to have a go at the mayor. The mayor is the same mayor whose son, he about 10 years ago, maybe longer now, his son was caught on the Turkish border with a large number of his family members trying to cross into, I think it was northern Iraq, to join ISIS. And he was treated with absolute kid gloves. Nothing at all happened to him. They treated it, the press and the establishment treated it like a story of a runaway, not someone who'd defected to a terrorist head chopping organisation, when everyone in the world knew by then exactly what they were. He wanted to throw some gays off roofs and went to join ISIS, and his Labour councillor dad. See him now. He's stood next to David Miliband, then Labour leader, giving it all that with a big fucking thumbs up. Your kid's not going to prison for 10 years, is he, for being a fucking terrorist? No way. He was let off. They talked about it as he'd had some kind of mental illness episode, and then the Labour councillor put out an article to the people of Rochdale saying, if you start mouthing off about my son, I'll sue you. That was the end of it. So yeah, a few years later he becomes mayor of Rochdale, and Galloway then be stitched, I think. He's stitched. You put that on his doorstep, right? And then he goes in Parliament and talks about it, and then Rochdale Council do an investigation, and it's like, well, there's nothing to investigate because the allegation has been withdrawn. Ding. Move on. That's it. And that was the end of it. And the ostensible victim hasn't ushered another word. Things have moved on quite as normal. Rochdale Council, baby. It's like, this is a clique. Our council, right? Our council, our town. This is where, say, Roger Mia's the only guy who gets it. Our town is run by an elite from a foreign country. It is. It's run by an elite from a foreign country, and they get to do whatever they like. And you know what? It's wrong to say, oh, the backies is like, no, it's wrong to say, because it's like, they don't benefit from this. They don't benefit at all. It's to their detriment. They're used as, like Hamas used Palestinians as human shields. That's what it is for the rank and file Muslim Pakistani population of Rochdale. They're being used as a shield by high ups who've got muscle and their alliance with the authorities. So it's like we've got a situation here as above, so below. One side's got the underworld stitched up, all the black things that we don't claim to happen, you know. Oh, violence, oh no. Oh, drug use, oh no. Oh, prostitution, oh no. We don't have that around here. There's no such thing. How dare you speak of that? Are you racist? All that. One side's got the thumb on all that, and then the other side, and puppet masters, the part you can see, the council that's obsessed with narrowing main roads and installing cycle lanes to, the cost of like tens of millions, who are more interested in being seen as green than the place being safe. More interested in that. And it's like, yeah, we've got a deliberately inept, puppet, ideological, woke, blinkered, blind council. And if they were anything but that, they'd have been kicked the fuck out at the same time as Colin Lambert and the same time as Farouk, who got kicked out of the Labour Party at the same time. If you didn't go along with that simplified line, you're gone. And it's not a matter of you lose your place in an election. It's like, nah, you're really fucking gone. The repercussions against you be rather severe. It's where Raja gets it. It's like cartels. It's like, yeah. Fucking right on. Labour Party are afraid of those guys. Because the Labour Party haven't got an army, have they? They haven't got black on black gangster muscle. So they've been, in essence, they're just dominated, taken over. And it's like so few Pakistani Muslims actually benefit from it. So few. Because fundamentally the same town they live in, and it's basically being like taking best part of an hour to get to motorway from here and shit. Like that bad. Traffic everywhere. Bad planning. Things you just look at and you're like, oh God, what have they done now? You can't drive down Manchester Road, mate. It makes me too depressed. Why? Well, it's been dug up for the best part of the last 2 years. Busiest road in town. It's been dug up for the part of the last... What are they doing? They're narrowing it and installing cycle lanes to make it so when the bus stops at the bus stop, the whole fucking line of traffic all the way back to fucking roundabout stops. Oh, you've removed all the ingresses for bus stops. Yeah, so every time a bus stops, all the traffic has to stop. Yeah. What's that like at like 6 o'clock at night? Terrible. As you'd imagine. Turn this into a place it takes fucking hours to get in and out of. So they drive you mad like that, the council, and then they throw out the odd edict. The last thing they did publicly was ban the use of derogatory terms aimed towards children within the council and the local government. So they've produced a list of words that you're no longer allowed to use to describe children. They haven't told us what the list was, but they've said they've issued one. And they made this pledge, and it was like an A0 size poster, like some fucking mock-up of signing some constitution, and had a photo opportunity with all these Labour councillors all signing it. I replied to it on social media. I said, I bet rapscallion isn't on the list, is it? Does one know what a rapscallion is? You rapscallion. It's a doer of mischievous things. So in placing that there, I was being a rapscallion and saying, I bet rapscallion's not on the list, is it? You rapscallion. Things you're no longer allowed, words you're no longer allowed to use to describe children. And they be believing that through bad words form bad ideas, and that's why people get the wrong idea about each other. And I'm like, you're that dumb. It's like, yes, they're that dumb, but those who run them, they know it's bullshit. They're just fucking playing the game. They know the system better than I do. They know there's things to say and ways to go that'll make people go, and they just put these fucking numpties right in front of you and say, right, you guys ostensibly have power, but you just ain't shit. Your job is just never to step on our toes. What are you up to? Oh, we're selling drugs. And I'm talking about relationships here between just a few people. This is nothing to do with the Pakistani population. No, just a few people benefit from this. But the same sort of aegis, the same kind of smokescreen that this, let's say, relationship, right, creates, allows for the same system that allows one person to get away with doing whatever they want to practically everyone with the same skin colour when you build it in with black and white thinking, political correctness. So suddenly, is it because I'm black? Is it because I'm a Muslim becomes almost the ultimate weapon. Like you've given every fucking person who isn't white in this town like a weapon out of like Harry Potter. Right, whenever you get in trouble, just say, is it because I'm black? And the person who works for the government, who's bound by this shit, is suddenly on the back foot. You bring it in out of nowhere and say, what? And they're all afraid of it. So they're giving you magic words you can use against the police to put them on the back foot and get you out the door. And here they are. These are the words. And then that go on for so long, then the cops are like, oh, we best not just even bother fucking arresting these guys. Why? They're just going to accuse us of being racist and get us suspended and get us... Let's be nice to them so we can stay in a job. Individuals have made it so that this place is corrupt. Corrupt individuals and cowards is what's made it. It's not no organisation. That's just the umbrella that they're all under. But it's corrupt individuals that makes the place corrupt. I put it to you that Colin Lambert and Seth Farouk, the people who were around him, who they got rid of at the same time as they cooed him out, the guys who went with him, were the last honest people in this town, in the world of politics. The last honest people. I had an idea that somewhere out in the world there was someone who was doing the job. Asking Billy, who knows? Who knows who can put this story together? Who can tell it the best? And it's like, well, we don't know. And now we do. I've made inquiries recently as to Farouk as to say, it would be good, if Colin Lambert could actually do an interview or something like that. I put it to him. Maybe it got as far as Colin. Not saying I set it in motion, but it'd be someone who we all needed at this moment in time to sort of come back into it. Just happens to be the leader of Reform in Rochdale as well. He's been in every way in opposition to the Labour Party since he's ran as an independent and done okay, nearly got elected. He's ran for, I think he ran for mayor. And he's now Reform, and it's like, there's no one with more political know-how in this town than him. He knows more about the actual job than the people who are doing it now, because they don't really know what they're doing. They're leaving it to the council management to fucking run it into the ground with their woke shit. Green nonsense. And they've actually pretty much handed power to Andy Burnham as well with that Greater Manchester Combined Authority. Can you understand the hubris of that? Labour Party have such a massive stranglehold over the towns of Greater Manchester that they decide to just combine the councils on their own. Well, no one can stop us. What are you going to do? And create an overarching planning authority. License to print money. Big skyscrapers going up all over Manchester. It's like this construct Labour have built. They'll do anything to protect this now. What they've built, this planning monopoly, this full stitch up that brings in maximum money, that brings in that creates maximum opportunities for one's friends. They'll do anything to protect it, and it's under threat. It's like, why? Well, two things. Continuing our story about grooming gangs and inquiries. See, Galloway, as I was saying, as I've gone on, I'm telling a really wide tale here, but it all goes in the same direction, trust me. Galloway summons me, you must come along and meet. And I thought, all right, I'll just be meeting George Galloway. It was a fuck. There was fucking 200 people there. He'd blanket invite everybody. And I turned up and was like, I'm here to see George Galloway. And he's full. Oh, this is a rally, this, mate. And then it'd be, okay, well, have I been just tricked? Does he actually want a word with me? And then it'd be, someone come up, you're John Collins, like, yeah, come over here, come and sit down here. And before the meeting started, come and sit down here. I didn't go on my own, I brought a mate with me. And he's not a good mate, but he's someone I respect, and I respect his opinion. Who knows a hell of a lot about Rochdale goings on as well. The other Mr. Spotland, as I like to call him. There's Mr. Spotland. I like Mr. Spotland. He's a friend of mine as well. But the other Mr. Spotland is far more useful to take with you anywhere, because people know him, and people know him for a certain reason. And it'd be a matter of, it sends a message when a guy like that comes, turns up, listens. So I'm like, you want to come with this meeting with me? So we got to meet George Galloway. And it'd be a matter of, he stands witness now of George Galloway kissing my ass relentlessly for about 5 minutes to join him. And it's like, I want you sending me your insights every day. It's like, we haven't got another one like you, mate. It's like, you're a strategist. You can actually think. You can see the bigger picture. We haven't got anybody like that. I haven't got anybody like that. And he's got hold of my hand and he's shaking my hand. It's like, shake my hand when I'm telling you this. And he's like, he's trying to pull off that I'm winning you over with my powerful hypnotism game. He really did. And it's like, likeable. And we were able to have a good conversation with him, where it were a matter of, he'd been knocked off his feet with things that he'd recently been told, and what his mouth was full of to me and Michael was tales that he'd been told off Billy Howarth about the state of how things actually work round here. And he was visibly shaken, Galloway. And he's like, I'm not so far from this. And he talks about when he were in the sort of youth cadet corps, you know, the old sea cadets, army cadets, saying that he got tampered with when he was a kid, Galloway, off some guy who was some kind of instructor on some camp. It's like you have to wonder, a guy like him who finds himself, he's in essence he's a good talker, George, and a good glad-hander, and he's popular. People like him, so he can just turn up and talk, and people will, pay. There's a lot to him. He's an intelligent guy. He's switched on. He's very modern. He's not a Luddite in any way, shape, or form. He's a man of the world as well. But I could see it in him that he was astonished by what he'd been told off Billy Howarth as to what the nature of this fucking town really is. He was stunned. It's like, how you deal with this, George, is going to be the big test. And at the same time, having just been elected and had not so long, in and around that time when he'd had that Labour MP turning up all tearful, telling him she was being sexually harassed and abused by the mayor. It's like they hit George with another level, another layer of shit, and it's a matter of all these people who bring him in, and I'm like, place needs cleaning up. It was excellent as to where when George was throwing meetings around, when he was throwing around, he'd started to steal bits of things that I like to say, right? Because George had been watching my videos in the election, and I'm like, this town needs a sheriff. I've been saying that for years. This town needs someone to clean it up. This town needs a sheriff. It needs someone high and above it who's allowed to go and nick anyone. It does. It needs a sheriff. And what was he saying when he got elected as new sheriff in town? He tried to take the mantle. He really did. And I'm like, that's what this town needs. It's like, be that. Be that. But in being that is to be an ear. And then the voice of Rochdale, which is a crying wail of despair. It's a child that's been abandoned half naked at 2 o'clock in the morning, 5 miles from home. That's what Rochdale is. And when you know, if you find yourself, hearing that sort of shit, and then people coming along and verifying it, it's like, welcome to Rochdale. Quite a heavy thing. And George wanted me as a strategist, and I said, well, I've got a strategy for you, George. What? I said, yeah, I've got a strategy. It's like, I agree with you in the same way as I'm on the same boat as Peter Hitchens. We need to do anything that we possibly can and make any alliance that we need to be able to stop Labour from getting in. This isn't about punishing Conservatives. This isn't about who's the best. This is about making sure we don't get these fucking psychos. We don't want the whole country to become Rochdale, because that's what's going to happen. You see the state of Oldham with fucking lying Jim McMahon knowing everything and saying nothing for years. We don't want that for the whole country. Jim McMahon's the Minister for Local Government. Like, we need to kill that before it fucking hatches. And I says to him, you don't need to be talking to me, mate. You want to go and find a guy called Raja Mia. He lives over in Mossley, on the side of Oldham. If you want, I'll give him a ring and I'll arrange for you to have a meeting with him. I'm not the guy you need to be speaking to if you want to stop Labour getting in. Go and talk to this guy. So George agrees. I sell him the pitch. I tell him what the proposition of Raja is and what he's got and what he's up to and what he's achieved. George is 100% on board. I said, like, this guy, if you can get this guy in front of the camera, it's like he ain't no idiot. He's a professional. He's a, you know what I mean? He's a better, let's say, he's a better orator than even I. Right? Go and make common ground with him. He'll make an alliance with anyone. Anyone who can give him a platform, and you can give him probably the biggest platform on the internet, mate. There's not there's only really Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson maybe that will give you a bigger platform than George Galloway. Bloody hell, Moats get one of them for political podcasts. It's one of the most listened to podcasts in the world. It's like he lets you on there tell your story, and it's a matter of this will be a national fucking scandal on the same day in the run up to an election where we desperately not need a fucking Labour government. We need ammunition to go after Starmer while he's just getting away with saying my change, and pointing to malfeasance in the Conservative Party. We need to get these guys on the back foot. And I sold this. It's like, you need to go and talk to this guy. He'll deliver it for you. He delivers it now. He's delivering it now, isn't he? He had to win on his own to get any traction. He had to win on his own to get any traction, and he still doesn't get the credit for it. People seem to think that Tommy Robinson did something amazing, and suddenly Tommy Robinson got through in the end. It's like, no, Roger Mia beat them, and he used politics to do it. He actually used democracy to defeat them and force the council to do what he wanted them to do. And what did he force the council to do? Write a letter to the Home Secretary demanding a public inquiry. She can't ignore that. And he fucking thought it out. He knew what he was doing. He had a plan. He go down, sit down in front of George and says, "It's already done, mate." What? Well, I've already set the fire. The fire is set. It's like, I've done my bit. I've opened the fucking portal, and now all the angels can fucking pour in. He could have eyeball sat there with George Galloway and says, I can bring the Labour Party down now, or are we going to have to wait 6 months' time? George took the advice of fast friends who'd gathered around him from a group of people in Oldham called the Oldham Group, and they are almost deadly enemies of Raj's. In the chaos of Oldham council business, they're a sectarian group of Muslims trying to take control of the council in their own interest. They are led by millionaires who drive around in Rolls Royces, who own many of these sort of immigrant flop houses, homes of multiple occupation. It's like they represent a group of locals who've gotten very rich out of planning and building homes of multiple occupation for immigrants. And they want to take control of Oldham Council. And they want to get into bed with George Galloway. But they now want to get into bed with Jeremy Corbyn. And previously, they were in the Conservative Party. Do you get it yet? George took their word. Those people surrounded Galloway. Those rich Pakistanis from Oldham. I used to be invited to every single function. So I've been to press conferences, meetings, conflabs, get to know you, meet and greets. I've been to them. And he has these upper crust, sort of very, very hearty middle class Pakistanis from Oldham who had stuck to him like a magnet. And I had a conversation with one of them who's last I saw him, I went, "Hey, you're right," and he just refused to acknowledge me and look at me. I'm like, what? Right? And I had a conversation with him as to where he'd had words with Galloway never to take any notice of anything Roger Mia said, because Roger Mia is a Zionist and an Israeli agent, Mossad. A Zionist agent who's looking to sow division in the Muslim community is what they told George Roger was. And I had a big window. George was doing meetings with all these different kinds of people, including the Labour councillor who got in crying her eyes out. That actual meeting may well have scuppered any chance of an alliance. A meeting between the two. There was to be a meeting between my good self, George Galloway, and Roger Mia, where we thrashed out how we were going to bring down the fucking Labour government. Isn't that amazing? What a day that'd be. I had the feeling at the time, it's like, fuck me, I've been rewarded for my fucking faith here. Let's have it. We'll do it. We're in. It's over. So George didn't know when there were a window available, because he needed to find like about an hour's time to see us. All right? And I sat in all day Saturday. and all day Sunday, and Roger sat in all day Saturday and all day Sunday, waiting for a phone call for when we could appear before George to make a case. Didn't call. Left us hanging. And then completely forgot about it. But you know what I mean? This is the guy who announced me as being the first person that he announced when he took over as MP as Rochdale, and there was a council election coming up. The first person that George publicly nominated to be a councillor, to run for a council position in Rochdale, was me, right? And he'd spent ages trying to convince me that I could run for council. I was like, mate, I am not long out of the hospital, right? I can't fucking canvass. Can't canvass, can't stay on my feet very long. Can talk, but I don't know for how long. And as well as that, I've got a big heart problem, right? And sort of stress and adrenaline and things that get my blood up and that I get engaged in are not particularly good for me. It's like, I ain't fit, I can't do it. You don't need to be able to walk to be a counsellor. Banged it and banged it and banged it, and then give me the old, oh, you're doing it for the good of. And then I made the foolish mistake of asking people around me as to say, yeah, I've been offered this by Galloway, and it's like full public support and endorsement. And they're all like, John, you've got to do it. You've got to do it. Yeah, you've got to do it. You've got to do it, John. You've got to do it. So I spent about 2 days weighing up pros and cons of it, right? And in the end, I agreed to do it. And it were a matter of, on certain conditions, right? Conditions. We do everything we can to bring in Roger Meter from Oldham. Okay, fine. And then I was deselected 10 o'clock at night on the last day before the candidates went in. The guy who was supposed to come round with the paperwork for me to sign, right? And it was this, right? I needed 2 residents of Rochdale to sign my application form to run for the council, right? It's good, this. So, I haven't got a car. And also, I'm someone who can't walk so easily. So, the guy who was supposed to come round to my house to sign the paper, to bring the paperwork for me to be the candidate for council, which, you know what, I would have won, because I had a way of winning that others in my ward have never had before, right? I'm not going to go into it because I get myself into trouble. Basically, I had something in mind as to how to actually win. There's a reason why people weren't winning, and I'd kind of come up with a way of doing it. So I had a plan of how to win. I'm like, yeah, I'm running. Well, you're running for it. Yeah, well, we're not starting campaigning yet. It's just at the candidate stage, but I'm confirmed as the candidate. Shit, I was even at one stage jumping in the public sort of arena as like the candidate-elect, campaigning, social media. And they'd be like, so who the fuck are you? Saying you might know something, or you might, well, Galloway's picked me out to be his candidate, Scotland. And then George is like, things in Scotland have been brought to my attention. Go away and find out about them. Go and find out about this. Go and find out about this. Go and find out about this. So there's things that I know about what's going on locally that were actually I thought I understood what the state of play was with, went away, found out, asked a load of questions, spent a load of time. Yeah, looks like the town's been lied to by the council and this private contractor as well. We've still got and always will have a Chernobyl level fucking ecological disaster in the shape of Turner Brothers asbestos works forever. The plans that they gave us were just another cheeky way of buying the land. The place is still a toxic fucking scrap heap with no security on it. They'd told us that they had a long-term plan for cleaning it up and signed up a lot of contracts, but the firm they signed the contract with no longer exists, and the land ownership has kindly reverted to the land holding company that was pretending to be this. Town got scammed again. So I goes away and there's this fucking investigation as to what's really going on with Turner Brothers. And it's like, you're gonna have to fight this. This is gonna end up in your lap. And it's like, and would you be interested in getting involved in this? Talking to some guy who wants to join the party who's from Healy because it's also half in his patch as well. I'm like, yeah. Tried to get in contact with him and he was so fucking anxious and nervous he just couldn't even talk. It's like, who the fuck is this guy? Oh no, I'm not talking to you. What the fuck? So I does all this messing about, goes and asks a lot of questions, gets the absolute full lowdown on this. Thought, right, okay, I'll bring this back up when I get, if I do get to be campaigning, I'm going to bring this up and I'm going to expose what's really going on about this. Fair enough, it's something I can actually negatively campaign on as to point to. Have you seen the failure of this town as to how they're not looking after our health, having this fucking death trap? Right, so I'm going to move along those lines in my campaigning. I'm going to be like, I'm going to tell people the truth about things that the council are not telling us. But if you go away and you find out and you talk to the locals, you find out. So that was the old angle. I'm like, right, okay, I'm going to take ownership of this. And then I'm also putting it to, and someone from the council has got to try to make friends in some way, shape or form with Rochdale Football Club, because they've forever just treated them as like cunts they want rid of because they want their land. That's what the council treats Rochdale Football Club as, and it's a matter of, might be an idea to get on board with Rochdale Football Club. So I'm making moves here. I'm forming relationships. I'm having conversations, being like, right, okay, I'm running for it round here. And people from round there know me. They know me off the internet, or else they know me through someone else, or, I used to play football with him. Who's that fucking ref who sent me off? All this kind of thing going on. So they're aware. And then I've got people who are good mates of mine who know lots of people around there who are backing me play and will see that everyone gets told, vote for John, he'll fucking kill him. Deselected on the day, right? The guy who had the paperwork, he needed to sign me up, but he also needed 2 residents of Rochdale to co-sign. And we needed to get it all done at the same time. So I said, well, the best thing for me to do here, right, is go to my parents' house and they can sign it. And we'll just do it all at once. So I'll just make my way up to my parents' house and I'll just wait there because they're there. You've got all 3 people you need. So I went up to my parents. He was due at 10 o'clock in the morning. And then he didn't turn up. And then he was due, oh, sorry, something's come up. I'm making my way. Lunchtime be okay. And he kept me, and he kept me, and he kept me, and he kept me, and kept me, and he kept me, and he kept me till 10 o'clock at night when it were, there's been a change of plan. And that was a young lad of about 25 who's like one of George Galloway's researchers or something, who's this like autistic ginger fellow who's some kind of electoral genius. And then when I've fizzed up at him and says, "What the fuck are you playing at?" Don't talk to me. You can't talk to me. Oh, forget it. Who the fuck are you guys? It's like there's one of the whole lot of you's competent, and that's George. And all he does is bark orders at y'all. So I then get it as to where I'm fucking furious. It's like, you fucked me. You've wasted my time for weeks and months here. So I speaks to Imtiaz. It's like, no, mate, we've done a deal. You're not running in that. You're not running in Scotland. When did you do this deal? Well, I don't know. So a combination of people who've all got overlapping powers vetoed George's decision to let me run for council. I'd even found the money myself as well. It's like, I can pay the cost of this. I've got a sponsor. What? Yeah. Pay for it myself. Oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Like, yep, I can pay that. I can pay to run. I can, and I've got someone to pay for all the leafleting and whatnot. What? Dump me on at the last possible moment, making sure that there were no other course of action. It's fucking awful to have been treated like that. It's like, I ends up on the phone to Imtiaz, he's now like deputy leader of the Workers' Party. He's not a bad bloke, but I had not met him before, or only briefly met him. And so I put it to him like, you guys have fucked me about no end, and you've completely wasted my time. It's like, I'm pissed off here. I feel like I've been dumped off some bird. It's like, what is this? What are you playing at? Oh, so sorry about it. I'm like, it's like, I built up a trust with Galloway, right? I felt that he was a man of his word, but it's like, between you fucked me over like this. What are you playing at? I didn't want this. It's not what I wanted. It's like, you talked me into it. You spent hours manipulating the situation, pressing me into doing this for you, right? And then you've fucking dumped me at the last second. Oh, I'm sorry, John. It's like, I can understand why you've got such a bad impression here. It's like, bad impression? It's like, you guys couldn't be worse fuck-ups if you tried to be. It's like, this is terrible. You can't treat people like this. Is this how you operate? Turns out, yeah, that is how they operate. They don't have a fucking clue what they're doing. Overlapping people with overlapping priorities and overlapping authority. And that's the thing, their politics be completely out of whack with mine. Completely. But it'd be a matter of, it don't matter to me, I can still mix it with leftists, with types, no problem. I don't have to change, go along, nothing. I can just hold my own line. But there are those who don't really understand that, who project their values onto others as to where you're either for us or against us. So it's like me, who's someone who takes everything on its own merit. To them, it's, well, obviously, you're not one of us anyway, so you have to be one of them. You have to be one of them. And it's like, no. You should be more like me. What? It's like, yeah, you're of the left, but you're of a different generation of the left, and you've got conservative social values, but fanciful leftist ideas about politics. It's like, we have got common ground here. We have got conservative values. Or have we? But by and large, everyone I've dealt with in Rochdale, for Rochdale who were around the Workers' Party, I haven't had a single problem, not a minute's issue. They're all right. They're all right. It's like, yeah, they're not a bad bunch. They're business owners. And it's like, and as well as that, they're not angels either. It's like, these are people who've lived, quite a few of them who've lived a life and know a thing or two. Not by no means angels, experienced people who've seen a few ups and downs and know a thing or two about what the world is. Yeah, they're the ones who came together to become the core of like the Workers' Party. And it's like, I think from what I can tell, they've just lost cohesion, lost momentum. Because, say, George Galloway lost an election in Rochdale, and it'd be like, wouldn't have been mathematically impossible for him to lose in Rochdale if they hadn't changed the boundaries. He had a third of his vote just carved straight off. Changed the boundaries, made the neighbouring constituency bigger in a move that was made when the government made the what's it called, them who decide the boundaries, the election commission or something. When they made them independent, they immediately became an instrument of the Labour Party. The Tory government made them independent to be transparent, and then they immediately became an instrument of the Labour Party. They were ideologically captured. They moved the boundaries specifically to get rid of certain people. And Rochdale's boundary was moved to remove the Conservative MP from Haywood and Middleton. But times changed in that time, and that boundary defeated George Galloway and delivered Labour to Haywood and Middleton. They changed the boundaries so, right, Rochdale ends at Rochdale Town Hall. Rochdale Town Hall is the very, very boundary of the Rochdale constituency now, where it was once upon a time the centre of it. It's now the very boundary of it, and they had to change it and strategically cut off some very, very large Labour voting neighbourhoods, Pakistani neighbourhoods, and move them into the next. Because once upon a time they thought of those people as absolute bankers to vote for them for some reason. Like they had already guaranteed they'd win that vote. If you look at how they changed the election map to squeeze out Jacob Rees-Mogg by sticking a lot of council estates on the edge of his constituency and stuff like that. You see how the Independent Election Commission played a massive part in bringing us a Labour government. It's like, this country is fucked. And you know what tells me it's fucked? They believe in fairy tales of saviours. That's why they fucked. All these desperate fucking people who pulled out the fucking tripe, right, to get Labour elected. Yeah, I'll show you something. I'm going to be gone a minute, but I've been collecting these. I'm going to show me. Right, there's something I've been collecting off eBay because I've been monitoring the price of them to see how cheap they get, right? And there are certain people in the world who are getting a Christmas gift from me, and they're a good quality t-shirt. That's why they're a good pickup. They're a good quality t-shirt. These, see this? They're about £6 now. These. But it's like, there's one of these coming for every member of my family or extended family who either voted Labour because they knew it would annoy me, right? Or who else believed in fucking fairy tales and now absolutely detest the fact that they voted in such a lying piece of fucking shit. From me, they're getting a Team Starmer t-shirt for Christmas. You know, knobheads I've come across who've been like, I don't know I don't know where you're coming from, John. It's the Tories. They're just terrible people. They just hate. Like, okay. To be twats from Rochdale who viciously campaigned for a Labour government. They all need a Team Starmer t-shirt, don't they, for Christmas? But going on with the tale, because this is a video odyssey, as to where we get to the stage as to where we're waiting for Roger to open a kind of portal. Seriously, think of it as that. It's like Roger is not the guy, right, who takes this fight to the end. Roger is the guy who infiltrates, right, and poses the impossible question to the government, which makes them kind of freak out and malfunction, because it's like, oh no, I can't. I might be seen as being racist. I might be seen as being Islamophobic. He's the guy who sends it. He's like Tron, who flings in the disc. He is. He's Tron who flings in the disc, and that opens the. Woo! And then what do we got? We get a Labour Party then be forced into this situation of a public inquiry. And that Casey woman, Louise Casey, is not our friend. She's someone who's like, look, if I deny this, my reputation as being someone who can tell the truth and be believed is fucked. People will laugh me to the corners of the fucking earth if I deny this anymore. So she said, oh, there has to be an inquiry. Because she can't not do, because of the overwhelming evidence she be it with. As soon as she starts to, you know, iceberg, oh, iceberg, and you're like, I can't fucking handle it. I can't deny this. This iceberg goes all the way to the bottom of the fucking sea. So she's not a friend to the people of this country. She's a friend of the Labour Party. She's a friend of Tony Blair's. He's the guy who put her there. She's served consecutive governments since Blair put her in. She's a Blair continuity member of the fucking deep state is what she is. She can't deny it. They hold her up as the highest authority in the fucking land. And what is she? She's a think tanker for the Labour Party. That's what she is. They hold her up as being, oh, she's somehow a beacon. It's like, no, you're setting up to do another limited hangout. You are not stupid, but your tactics, right? Other people, everyone's just learned them. You've done it so often. You're going to attempt to have an inquiry that's a limited hangout. So you being the clever people you are, right? You're going to say it's victim-led. I can see this a mile. Victim-led. So then they'll see that as, okay, so if we stack the victim panel with our people, because you've now got it where you've got victim panel, you've got a difference between girls from council estates who've been groomed and raped hundreds of times. They're basically lover boy method, trad casted. Lad comes along in his unimpressive car that seems amazing to a 12 or 13-year-old and says, so love. And suddenly he becomes her boyfriend. And it's a matter of, you're hanging around with a guy who's a little bit older than you. He's my boyfriend. Oh, he's your boyfriend, is he? Yeah, it's called the lover boy method. It's basically what Andrew Tate teaches. It's what the woke right in politics grooms with. The lover boy method, the family thing, the everything thing. So they groom these girls to believe that this older fella's the boyfriend. And then a couple of months down the line, it's like, right, now all my friends are going to fuck you. Excuse me? Well, you wouldn't want to lose me, would you? No, you mean everything to me. I love you. Well, do as you're told. Coercion and grooming, mind control. You just break someone's heart, steal it, and it forever be yours. It's a terrible sin. It's called pimping. It's a terrible, terrible crime. You steal someone's whole life when you do that. You steal their life when you do that. There is no chance of that person ever having what they might call a normal life. They've lost that and it's gone and it's never going to happen for them. And if they try and force it, they will bring damaged children into the world, as they do. It's like you've created a multi-generational disaster when you do that. You've doomed the children and anyone who ever loves this person to destruction as well. You've destroyed their ability to ever really have another relationship. You've fucked them up. And you're not bothered once you finish with them. Once they become too difficult, discarded. It's fucking awful. It's wrong. I think it's the highest crime in the world, pimping. And it's like the treatment for that happening once upon a time. There used to be a thing where there wasn't so much of this used to go on in certain places where, places by the sea, places that had brothels, places that had ships that were going to foreign lands. It used to happen there. Place like Rochdale, doing that kind of activity be a way of getting your ass fucking murdered in the street, or beaten and beaten and beaten and beaten and beaten and left for dead. That's what would happen to you if you were caught wrong doing that kind of thing. Once, and then suddenly it became, I don't know, altogether more socially acceptable. I think in the way that the pop stars, the screaming adoration of girls, I think something societally just made them more vulnerable to that kind of attack. Just something to me that always goes hand in hand with them marketing George Michael and fucking Bros. Male models as singers. You know what I mean? In Michael Jackson's case, a gay guy, he wouldn't leave his house without his boyfriend pretty much. And these girls then become like wildly attracted, fixated to older men. Lower the standards in some regards. And the eroticized thinking involved, it just switches them on. Won't mind some of that. How old are you? 8? I love him so much. Teddy bears. And it's like the tricks that those kids learn by being put through that process of grooming turns them into dangerous people themselves. They've been taught every cunt's trick in the book by the time they've been through their side of the experience. They've learned every cunt's trick in the book. All the wrong lessons in life. They've learned them all in being the victim of this. Evil, sort of wicked scheme. It's wicked is what it is. It's evil. But they come out of it with a full understanding and knowledge of evil, and then have a choice as to whether you want to go up against this evil or you want to just harness it, be the next generation of abuser. You have a choice. But it's like either way they go, they're going to be fucking forces of nature. They're going to be really, really, as to, you think this is a big deal to me? You know what I've been through. You hit me with this. You know how tough I am. You know what I've lived through. It's like, we haven't got a society that's actually equipped to deal with women like that. Right? We haven't got a society to deal with them. Now, you've got it where Labour brought in some archetypal victims, yeah? To fill out that victim lead. And they be, I was touched on a bus. They be victims who play the victim. And then on the committee, they also bring in girls who've actually, stood up against their abusers, and it be, oh fuck, you can't live with her. It's like, oh God. It's like, if I wanted to wish something on my worst enemy, right, I'd wish that they had like 4 or 5 absolute, like, Valkyrie style forces of nature going up against them. If I could reach out with my imagination and force some kind of manifestation of angels and ghosts to do my bidding, it'd look just like what's happened to the Labour Party, where they've found themselves in conflict with those survivors. It's like those women they'll be badass. They'll be durable, and they'll be an inch away from hell's fury, and it'd be absolutely fucking justified. And it'd be, you wouldn't want to marry that girl. Seriously, it's like you wouldn't want to marry that girl. Why? Because that fury might turn on you one day. And it's like, there's righteous fury when it's justified, and these girls have had every trick in the book played on them to placate them, gaslight them, brainwash them. And you bring those people in and you put them in the same room with a load of walkie victims and a politically correct, very, very racially aware liaison officer under the auspices of the radical feminist Jess Phillips, who's a perv. She would think the tales, I'm telling you, the tales of terrible abuse that these girls could tell, she'd find them in a way titillating, because she's got no sexual boundaries. She said some things in the past that have been like, who fucking thinks like this, let alone speaks like this, as to where she downplays horrendous sexual assault in the past, and then just in essence would look to blame all men, and then upscale the blame to the patriarchy, and then get away with doing that. So she's the most aloof and dismissive person there is when it comes towards victims of heinous crime. She's completely unsuitable. She's a perv. Dear me. They represent now. There's a stage of it now as to where Roger read out that letter that Ellie Reynolds wrote. I think she's from Barrow. Smart girl. She wrote a letter in response. She was given a right to reply. She played absolutely fucking brilliantly, and it's a matter of Keir Starmer put out this open letter in public to these 4 or 5 girls who've withdrawn from this inquiry panel because they feel they're being coerced into turning it into something that's not about Pakistani gangsters. Right? Coerced. So they've pulled out. And then Keir Starmer has written this open letter addressed to all of them that's extremely condescending to them, as if they're little children, and promises to get it right. And if you ever want to come back, you know you're welcome to rejoin the committee. And it'd be absolutely horrendous. It's like, why would they ever? Absolutely horrendous letter he sent. And that Ellie Reynolds took his right to reply and wrote like the most scathing thing you've ever read. And she'd be right. And she'd be right on every level as to where, you idiot, just open the door for someone to respond to you with the most direct and, let's say, scathing, poisoned pen letter that I think I've ever read, or ever had read to me. she nails him to the cross. As to where she even makes it clear from the start that, you know, us girls who've been used, like really used, we've got a sixth sense for it. We know we're being manipulated. We know we're being talked down to. It's like your attempts to manipulate us are laughable, amateurish. We are masters of this game. We have served our apprenticeships at it. Don't try and kid us. We've been fooled before. She murders him. And it's like, we know, or I know, these Labour guys, narcissists. They're not even equipped to think like that. They can't think like that. They can't put themselves in that person's shoes. They can't. They've never been through it. They've never been tortured. They've never been misled, lied to, abused. And it's easier for them to ostensibly rule if they believe that them are just things from stories. And we're dealing with something, people that are that bad. They are aloof. And it's really dangerous for our country. It's dangerous for our country because they refuse to face reality and will fight to defend their version of it. There's something going on now that's actually crossed over into superstition. I've been waiting for this for years. This is actually qualifies for in the past when I've been doing my own gaslighting, saying to people, you know, weird shit will happen soon enough. When things get so strange and so fucking weirdly meta and superstitious that you can no longer work out what's going on, send for me. Because that's the time when I become most useful. You've got crazy on crazy. But you've also got higher magic versus lesser magic. When we're dealing with people who are narcissistic and live in imaginary worlds or imagined worlds, they can meet on that level and do what? And it's like be dragged to the very pit of all existence and then defeated by bitter experience over fanciful ideas of what the world could be. They have let in like a team of psychic assassins who none of them can live with. They thought they were being clever stacking that panel, and then with the pop psychology methods of manipulation outnumber the true victims of the real crime that we want sorting out. Ignore. Sort of put them in a corner, have them outnumbered, vote them down. You think they're going to stand for that? It's like these are combatants. It's like anyone out there read the books of A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones. Part that wasn't in the series was when Mance Rayder goes to Winterfell when the Boltons are now in charge of it, and he infiltrates the place as a singer and guitar player because he is really good. Mance is a fun. He's won as much of his people's love from his songs and jokes as he has his bravery. He's the real deal, Mance Rayder. He is a king. Mance Rayder takes a group of washerwomen down to Winterfell, and he's working there, and he's actually very good. You know, he's working there as an entertainer, a minstrel. And he's really good. It's not as if he's faking it. He's fucking brilliant. Knows all the songs, north and south of the wall. And Mance Rayder is a guy who would appear in different places as a spy And to be a spy, any function he ever wanted to go to was a matter of, oh, hi, I've come here to play the ball. Oh, well, you're not on the list. Yeah, come in. Yeah, you're on the list. Well, Mansraider had this group of washerwomen, or like group bunch of workers, scullion maids, you know, kitchen whores type. And he took them down with him, and it's like, oh, I'll take my girls with me, we'll be all right. It's like, they end up assassinating like dozens of people. There's talk in Winterfell that there's a ghost, or some, like, the ghost of the Starks are killing people in the night, and it's like, nah, it's Mansraider's washerwomen. They are the deadliest of deadliest assassins, and will, fuck everyone there as well. They will fuck everyone in the place and kill half of them. They're absolutely fucking stone cold, lethal whore assassins he takes with him. My girls. It's like, not to the tune that they'll pull blades on people and fuck everyone to get what they like. But women of that sort of strength and character, it's like they're the most valuable people in the world. They are. It's like in history, the greatest killers in history. It's like you find yourself enough of them and you don't need an army. And we deny there's that spirit in the world of like the female killer, the female woman who would use her private parts as a weapon that she knows works, and she knows how it works and why it works. It's like they exist. And it's a matter of, it's like these miseducated young women seeking justice. It's like they're that dangerous. They are of that mind. It's like you found yourself now in a war of words, a kind of meta imaginary war, where they can get on television and start to talk in detail at any stage about what they went through, and people be like, no, can you leave it at that? We don't want to broadcast this. Do you want to hear some more? To find yourself at war with people like that. Jesus, what? They can't get out of this. It's like these women, these girls have outmaneuvered them. They've got in. They've outflanked them. They've been able to get themselves invited to the party. And then knives are out. They've had it. I commend all these are I commend them. Yeah, it's like, well done. It's like, what a hand well played. It's like, yes, you have completely blindsided, infiltrated, and you've got a knife to government's throat here, really. It's like what you do next is going to decide what happens next. Like, well done. The Labour Party make enemies of who, to a certain type, the most dangerous people in the world. And it be those who've gone through that and come out the other side of it forever changed and forged into something new. And this new, the leftists can't deal with him. You know what the weird thing is with what they are, right? The weird thing is the left will not be able to live with them or stand against them. But those of us on the right would have an endless ability to negotiate with them. Ain't it weird? because we don't want to use them. And you get it with people like them, right? Don't marry them. I'm telling you, don't go out on dates with them. They're dangerous in that regard. But to treat them fairly, they reciprocate. I'm telling you, good people. The good people, they're there. For what they've been through, come out the other side, fundamentally good people. But changed. But good people. Hats off. I wouldn't want to go up against you. I ain't got any reason. I ain't got any legitimate reason in the world to have anything against them, have I? Absolutely not. And who has? Reason to doubt their word, as much as with any other person. You don't. You weigh as to what they have been through, and it's a matter of there's an inevitability that they are seriously psychologically and emotionally damaged people, and they're going to spend their whole lives living with it, and have to live with it always, and just make the best they can of it. But there's a lot of people built a good life out of that. Your chances of the dream trad family life are pretty extreme at that stage, but there's many other kind of lives you can live, many other kinds, whatever you want. In some regards, it's like those women are now left behind as women who it's folly for them to think that they could have children and grandchildren and things turn out great for them. It's folly. But they can be anything else, and they've got the means to get whatever they want. And they can be anything else. But truth be told, that the notion of purity, the notion of a reset to a more perfect world, it's just not available. There's no going back. You can't give someone their childhood back, and we need their childhoods. They form who we end up. They play a big part in how we end up. Our experiences as childhood inform our adult decision making. We learn more as kids. Time seems to be slower when you're a child, and you just you absorb it like a sponge. And learning the wrong lessons in life or being misled. We've got an education system that, since I've been a kid, that's brainwashed little girls and made them vulnerable to predators. I've seen it, watched it live. Had half an idea what was going on for most of it. I put myself in this child sexual abuse thing. I've been in this fight since I was 7. And my eyes were really open to it when I was 13. Really opened up to it. And then an understanding by the time I was 15 that I was naive at 13, and that it was rife and everywhere and normalised, and everyone was lying about it, right? It opens the door for even worse things to happen, and in the form of the Pakistani grooming gangs, that was the even worse. Oh, you turn the blind eye to this, do you? Well, you'll probably turn the blind eye to this as well. And it worked like that. It worked its way in. It worked its way through the system. There was a time when there was a terrible fate awaited these guys who used to sit in cars outside schools, waiting for kids to leave school and picking them up and taking them home. There used to be a reckoning for them. They did. What the fuck are you playing at? Who are you waiting for? What's going on here? You could expect some attention for playing that game. Now, you'd be accused of being racist. What are you suggesting, that those Pakistani fellas in the car might be grooming these girls or taking part in sexual activity with them? Me going to school with all these girls, all 12 and 13 and 14, dolled up, full of makeup. My boyfriend. I'll get my boyfriend on you. My boyfriend will sort you out. You'll have to sort out my boyfriend. I'll tell my boyfriend you said. And you're like, okay, go and send for your fucking boyfriend, slag. And boyfriend would turn up and he'd be about fucking 24. But, you know, guy at 24 be rather dangerous to kid of 15, regardless of what a shitbag he is. As would be described as scroats. It is possible for in this world for the least impressive scroats in this world to appear very impressive to a 12 or 13-year-old girl. Very impressive. The act of grooming young children, if that's what you've got the will to do, is not that difficult. It's worse than cheating. It's completely despicable. And you know the you know, most people in their heart of hearts, they would see that the death penalty be the right thing for that. But people would say, well, castrate them. Says, no, you create then a problem with these castrated fucking psychopaths. You just know, it's like hanging be right. Just send a fucking message. Hanging be right. Hanging be what you'd expect 100 years ago if you were caught wrong like that. Hanging be what you'd expect. It'd be, to my mind, the highest of crimes. Worse than murder. Worse than murder. Say I'm confronted in the face with it as to where you don't want to be going up against these people when they get caught wrong. They are killers. The fucking pedos. If you're the one who mouths off and says, there's something wrong with this, I'm blowing the whistle on you, you could expect them people to come at you with absolute fury. Dangerous people. Come at you with knives, blades. When you hear sometimes of someone who's been like heinously stabbed to death, in the mix of it as to where that's an eventual action, it could well be that one person said to the other one, it's like, I'm going to expose what you're doing with that little girl. Dead. They have ways of frightening people, and they're completely and absolutely ruthless, right? And young women who've endured them, stood up against them, exposed them, and had them put in prison have now found themselves in a conflict with a Labour government. Who be the more formidable enemy? The evil, ruthless, scumbag, gangster shit, or the Labour Party? I think you'll find that the scumbags were more sophisticated and capable of far more wrongdoing. And they've defeated them. Jesus, what? You're dealing there with women, right? Women have got their own kind of superstitious way about them. Women who could spot a scumbag now at about 100 yards, and you stick them in a room with a load of Labour scumbags. What a world.